Welcome to the Lone Machinist podcast, the podcast where it's just you, your tools, and the work. No team, no backup. I'm Jamie from JSpec Engineering, and every episode we're tackling the highs and lows of flying solo in the machining world.
And I'm Curt from Confounded Machine, here to chat about everything it takes to make it as a one-man show in the shop. From grinding and turning to the struggles of running a one-person operation, we're sharing the stories, the tricks, and the challenges that come with going it alone.
If you're out there in the shop grinding away by yourself, or just thinking about taking a solo plunge, this show's for you.
So throw in your ear protection and let's talk about life behind the machine.
Good morning, Curt.
Good evening, comrade. How are you doing?
I'm good, and you? Yeah, there's a reason for the hat, though. I've actually been wearing it most of the day because it is bloody cold here. And by bloody cold, I mean like it got to 4 degrees today. Ooh, like
that's chilly.
4 degrees science with a nice, with a nasty wind. I woke up this morning, it was raining, and then there's been a chilly wind all day. And tomorrow we're going to drop to -2, which is pretty much as cold as it's going to be for the year, hopefully.
Wow, like -2 in rain, or like right around 0 in rain is cold.
Yeah.
Like especially if you're going to be outside, like that's worse than -20 in some instances.
Yeah. Also wearing shorts.
Of course.
Yeah. Like I wore long pants on the weekend. I'm all long pantsed out now. Yeah. No, it was a little bit chilly in the workshop today. I actually closed up the doors. Well, I had an ex-colleague come visit me this afternoon to sort out some oiling stuff. And we were standing by his car having a chat. And I'm like, okay, go now because I'm freezing. Because we were outside in the shade and the wind. And I'm like, okay, you can leave now. I'm done being cold. It's a bit chilly. How are things that side?
Beautiful, man. Today's like, I don't know, it's like 27 or something like that. It's going to be
nice.
It's going to be
Summer.
lovely. Yeah. Summer for us. Yeah. So
Yeah.
It's warm at night too. It's not dropping down at night, which kind of sucks without AC. But hey, you know what? I'll take it because it's going to be -40 soon enough. So
yeah. I assume you guys have heating, not cooling.
yeah, I mean, cool. A lot of people have their homes AC too because our temperature's so weird. But I don't know. I'm cheap. I have some portable units, and that gets us by for the few weeks you need it. So
yeah. Now I was in Poland during summer, -40 in winter, 40 degrees in summer, and there's no air cons. We literally had lunch at McDonald's every day because they had an air con. We would take the full hour and go sit in the air con and have lunch.
Yeah.
Like
Fair.
It was brutally hot. But yeah. So what have you been up to this week?
Oh, this last week I've just been pissed around with that mechanism. Got it fully fleshed out and functional. Super happy with it. Built a few of them, and had a lot of positive feedback. So I'm going to be doing a batch of them. So yeah, going to be jumping on that this week while I wait I have a bunch of titanium on order. I kind of postponed it because I knew I'd be kind of tinkering around with some other stuff this week, so I pushed the order back, but that should be here today. Another giant McMaster order with a crap ton of Ultim should be here today, and party. I mean, eventually I have like a plastic shop like down the road that will sell me Ultim at probably like 1/10 the price, but it's easy, so whatever.
The mechanism's looking really, really good.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it seems to work out. It's good.
I showed Danica and she got quite excited.
Click. I'll click it over the entire podcast and just
that's why I put down that kinematic coupling, because that thing makes a hell of a racket, and I've put it down because I realized I have a habit of fiddling with things during the podcast.
Yep, same. I'm putting mine out of reach because same thing. I'll grab it and you'll just hear it in the background, and everyone will go angry.
They're crazy.
Yeah. How was your week? Looks like you had a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, a lot of fun. So I waited for 3 days for the replacement optocoupler boards to come in for the probe, only to realize it was the probe that was the problem.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so pulled it open. It's now working better than it's ever worked. So I pulled it open, cleaned it out again, got full of coolant, and then hot glued some stuff and shoved it back together. And it's now repeating within a micron on most. If I touch off, there's about a micron of variation. So it's repeating much better than it's ever repeated. That's at least resolved. I have a tool setter again.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I discovered that the front of my machine says drill tap center, and it means it. I was rigid tapping M10 in stainless.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, no problem. Like, thought I was going to struggle. I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try, and just
Hmm.
plowed through all 30 parts I needed to tap. So yeah,
Nice.
that was a nice surprise.
How quick were you tapping it?
750 RPM.
Okay, so yeah, for an M10 M10, that's good. Yeah.
It's going, yeah. So I had to, unfortunately, I didn't catch it in the machine and the holes were undersized. So I had to just quickly open the hole up with a 8.5 drill and then run a tap through it. So
Oh, well, you found out.
I used to just rigid tap or tap them, power tap them in the lathe, and then I
Hmm.
sold my lathe, my bigger manual lathe, and the parts
Oh, okay.
actually don't fit in the toy lathe. So this is the first time I've run them since then. So I had to figure out a plan. I was just going to drill the hole and then hand tap them because it's only 30 parts, and I was like, let me just see what the LK can do, and yeah,
Right,
it
right.
can do.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah,
Like I
that's
read, um, flip words are hard this evening. I regularly rigid tap M10 into aluminium, and yeah, I do that at 2,000 RPM.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, and the machine doesn't care. It just
Yeah.
zooms in, zooms out. Like, but that's aluminium, not stainless steel.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. A lot different.
It's ever so slightly different. Yeah, I was
Uh,
chatting to. I actually ended up on Discord on must have been Thursday night or
mhm.
Wednesday night with chatting to Jacob from Zone and Precision. Let's see if I can get it wrong for the third time today. Zone and Precision, I know he listens. I was Jacob. And EJ from Nocturnal Welding. I was helping EJ out design a pallet for some lures he's machining, which hopefully he
Mm.
will get around to machining tomorrow so we can see how it works because it's stainless steel on the anchor points. Um, but yeah, he was asking me about tap sizes and things because he was making custom pallets because he needed a pallet that was just slightly bigger than the blank pallets that ship with the anchor point.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
running him through how to design a pallet.
I think I saw that he's got like four little stainless planks on one of
Yeah, I
those
think it's
pallets,
three. Yeah,
or three
three, and
maybe. Yeah.
then
Yeah.
yeah, and then he bolts. I got him to bolt him through the back, and then just drill the threads out after the fact. Because I mean, it's a fishing
Cool.
lure. It really doesn't make a
Yeah.
difference. Because yeah, I'm a big fan of the knife maker method, where you bolt in through the back of the pallet.
Totally.
I've got a
Yep.
video that is all shot, and I just my editing software, Microsoft and it are not friends. Every time I want to use it, I
Hmm.
have to reinstall it, and the last time I didn't reinstall. So I think I'm going to go to DaVinci Resolve and see how
I was
that.
gonna come to the dark side.
Yeah, I'm worried. Yeah,
It's
yeah. Mm.
it, it's fantastic. I love it. Like I came from Premiere, and going to Resolve is a bit of a learning curve, but you can map the shortcuts to whatever you're comfortable with. So it's I don't know. It's good.
Yeah, I
There's a lot of weird
video
steps, but
edit so infrequently that yeah, it'll be what it is.
yeah,
Danica's trying to convince me to use Canva, and I told her no because just no.
for video editing,
Yeah, she video edits in Canva.
I I side with you on this.
Yeah, no, sorry, not happening. Like, I want a proper video editor that I can edit stuff locally. Yeah, all the stuff's on the PC, and then yeah, I went to download the stuff off my drive because it's just easier to push it to Google Drive from my phone and then pull it down on the PC. Went to pull it
Mhm.
down, and half the files hadn't synced. So
Hmm.
I ended up faffing with that last night, and then shooting a little thing using OBS. OBS is really cool.
Oh
Shooting a
yeah.
screen recording of how I programmed the Isotie.
Oh cool. I love that. That tie looked so cool.
Yeah, no, it was spiffy as hell. I like
Yeah.
that I'm the one at the wedding after. So everyone was like, "Your tie's so awesome!" Like I was the dude with the fancy tie, and then after we left, because yeah, we got a little inebriated, and then I took Danica back to our guest house room, and then it was like, "Where's the chick with the boobs gone?" I'm like, "Nice, dude with the tight chick with the boobs." Like fucking winning, because she we were having a jaw, but then yeah, someone gave her a shot of Cactus Jack, and that just pushed her over the edge. And I'm like, "Cool, let's go before you fall over and injure yourself." Yeah, but
Oh,
it was a proper jaw. First
no, it's
Afrikaans wedding I've been to. It was quite fun.
yeah.
They've got a
Yeah, it
bunch
looked
of
like
interesting traditions.
okay.
Yeah, like haggling the groom when he's trying to do a speech.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
fun.
so like all the guys pulled up with their chairs and they gave us silly string and he's trying to do a speech and I'm spraying it in his mouth.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that
like
sounds
the Oaks, like haggle him, and then eventually the new wife came and said, "Okay, enough, guys," and then we all stopped, and he did his speech, but yeah, just giving him a hard time. But
oh,
yeah, it
poor
was interesting.
bastard.
Yeah, no, it was the first Afrikaans wedding I've been to, and yeah, there's some interesting traditions involved there.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
but it was generally a fun weekend away from the workshop.
Yeah, so you looked quite dapper. So
Yes, I wore long pants and a long sleeve shirt. I
I
even had
saw
a
that.
suit
Yeah,
jacket. It was so
and
fancy, and my
boots.
safety boots.
Yeah.
I polished my safety boots that morning, like in the sun. Sat there, polished my boots. Well, by polished, I mean filled in the giant scratches with shoe polish so that I'd look spiffy. And then yeah, we had the whole wedding story, and it was fun.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we were
That's cool.
back
That stuff
yesterday
is fun.
afternoon. Yeah, it is fun every now and again. People must get
Hmm.
funny ideas of getting married often.
Yeah, I know. My
Yeah.
my favorite wedding I went to is my best friend's wedding, and he had it in a gondola going up a mountain.
Oh,
So
nice.
we could only have like 20 people in the gondola,
Yeah.
and it was like 9 minutes from when you leave to when you end. So it's like the wedding is
Oh,
going to
that's
be nine
brilliant.
minutes long. So
Yeah,
go. So as soon as it started moving, it's like we're gathered here today. It was my favorite one I went
that's
to.
awesome.
Just yeah,
Yeah, this one wasn't horrible. It was all of 30 minutes, like the actual
cool.
ceremony, and the speeches were like I think another 30 minutes. My wedding was also like 20 minutes of speeches. The wedding ceremony was super short. My cousin's was like an hour and a half or 2 hours of speeches. You would swear it was someone's
Oh
21st.
yeah, ragged.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
no one wants
and then
that.
they
No
got
one wants
divorced
that.
like 2 years later.
Of course, that's how it
Turns out
works.
that's what
the long.
that's what happens when you marry a crackhead. But yeah, we can. Oh, jeez, yeah, that's not the
There's like
family.
a study on that. The more expensive your wedding is, the less likely your marriage is to last. It's crazy.
No comment with what this wedding this weekend cost. Um, yeah, no, it was not cheap. I know it was not
Oh
cheap. I know
no.
how much it cost because I'm friends with. Yeah, but yeah, my cousin is the groom's ex-wife. She was there as well. It was
Huh.
great. No, no, they okay. I say it like that, but they're best of friends still. Like
Oh, that's
they
cool.
grew up, yeah, they grew apart, divorced before shit got ugly. So they still friends and part of each other's lives and whatnot. So yeah, it was great. It was a bit sad that his ex-wife was a bigger part of his wedding than his best friend was, because his best
Ugh.
friend and them had a falling out like 3 weeks ago, just before the wedding.
Ugh.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh.
on to the actual important
Yeah.
things, not
Say
the
back
dumb shit we do on weekends. Um,
back to machining.
yeah, I'm very curious about your Elton topic.
So Ultim is wonderful. Like you know how they say everyone's a hero in brass. I think everyone's a hero in Ultim, unless you're drilling holes. Drilling holes kind of sucks with Ultim because it's like machining like UHMW or HDPE or kind of any plastic that wants a string. So
Okay.
yeah, that's kind of annoying. I would just keep pushing drills harder and harder and harder, trying to get the little bird's nest to
Yeah.
fly off. I actually realized I could probably program the drill to like come up and then like spin backwards and then spin forwards, and I bet you that would work, but just
I've
didn't
done
think about
that.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I forget that like, hey, you have a spindle that can like do that in like a second. Like it doesn't take like
Yeah.
like it'll be tick tick and you'll be good to anyway. So
Yeah.
I might piss around with that, but
That
and then
does
same
make
thing.
quite a big difference. And the only annoying thing is you've got a program that shouldn't by hand.
Yeah, totally. And then yeah, I want to f around with getting some Siemens like pass through like message pass throughs. So there's optional stops,
Like
but
an
then I
actual
want like
pop up.
yeah, like physical stops to be like, hey, right now you have to put a bunch of bolts in because I do tape and glue because I don't want to like post process these. I want to put the
Yeah,
raw
yeah.
stock on, let the machine drill all the holes for it, and then put the fixture screws in. Let it finish the machining so I don't have to worry about it, and then yeah, just want to have a
Yeah.
stop because I know one time I'm gonna forget that. Be like, why is it stopped here? Whatever, hit cycle start, and then be like, oh.
Yeah.
So
Whoopsie. Yeah, no,
yeah,
100%. Yeah, as far as I know, there is a way to actually make pop up messages.
there's got to be like you can do
Yeah.
it in Linux. I'm sure you can do it. And I told or Fusion told me you could do it. I was like, oh okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I did like a manual pass through with a message, and it just the control looked at it and
There's
it's like,
nothing.
what are you trying to do? I was like, oh okay, maybe you don't understand.
Yeah. But I mean, that shouldn't be too
So
difficult to get working. I need to figure out how to store my current work offset, or what work offset I'm in, and call it at the end of my tool break detect because I nearly
right,
crashed. Luckily, I was watching
ugh,
it. So if you don't, so my tool break detect macro works perfectly if you check at the end of everything using that tool. But
right,
if you check between cycles, it doesn't recall the offsets before continuing.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, I need
Gotcha.
to figure that out.
Or could you just alter your post so that, or are you doing it mid program,
I was doing it mid, so
or
I
like
was
mid
doing it
op, I
after
should say?
every single operation. I wanted a toolbreak
Okay.
detect just to make sure
Okay.
the tool was still there, because some of the stuff was like 15, 20 minutes, and I wanted to make sure the tool was there. But turns out when you use the magical 1 millimeter end mill that I have, it just doesn't break.
Did you
Pre-tool
have a
feeds and
spare?
speeds. I've got two spares.
There you go. That's why I didn't break.
Yeah, that's why I didn't break. Yeah, so I broke my 1.5 millimeter because it was a 22 millimeter length of cut, like an extendo rib cutting one
Mm,
that I had. So I went to a 1 mil and I was going faster with the 1 mil than I was with the 1.5. And then, yeah,
nice.
got that dialed in and ran off two bow ties quickly,
Yeah.
one for me and one for my brother in law. And then,
Sick.
yeah, they look really sweet. I kind
They
of
do.
wish I
They
had
look
an
really good.
M2 thread mill so I could thread mill the ISO grid holes
Yeah.
just for shits and giggles. Like, there's no reason to thread them, but why not?
But you could bolt on additions. You could bolt on little
There you
flowers or
go.
all kinds of little decorations.
Yeah, the back's already got four M3 holes for
Nice.
fixturing, but yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with how that came together for a whole afternoon of thought or an evening of
Yeah.
thought, and then machined it the next day. But yeah,
Yeah. It
there's
looks
like
really good.
an hour and 20 minutes in each one.
Nice.
Yeah, 1 mil end mills, they're the best because everything's
Yeah.
half millimeter wall thickness and
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 0.85 corner radiuses, so it's not exactly lots of spare space.
Yeah. No, it looks. I love that pattern. It looks so cool
Yeah.
on anything, including a bow tie. Now, who would have thought?
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Who would have thought? It's the Isotie. But yeah, yeah, it was
Sick.
lots of fun. And then, yeah, last
Yeah.
week I went and welded some shit and then 3D scanned my boat.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, you're doing it
Yeah,
with
I'm waiting
Roger.
to get the model from Roger. Yeah. Thank you, Roger. Yeah, I went and welded some stuff for his Porsche Speedster replica while he 3D scanned my boat. And then
Mm.
turns out I can TIG weld waterproof. First go, who would have guessed?
Ooh, tough
Um,
guy.
yeah, you don't want to see the welds. They're waterproof. I didn't say they look good. But yeah, grinder and paint make me the welder aids. So I went through there and finished that up on Thursday afternoon. I'm trying to think about last week and what happened on which day.
Mm, mm.
Because yeah, Friday afternoon we shot off to that wedding, so like the week is a bit confusing.
For that scanner, is it like a, what is it, like an Ein scan or?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
Einscan, yeah, I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
I don't
kind of
know.
looked the
It
part.
works.
I was trying to judge it.
Yeah, no, it works pretty well. Like we bukakied my whole boat with alcohol and baby powder, so it was all matte. And then we're having
Right.
a few tracking issues, but we didn't want to use any tracking dots because those things are like $2 each. So
Ah,
he's
okay.
like, no, we're doing this without tracking dots. So we're putting piles of things for it to pick up as tracking, like because you want texture, and then it can actually track pretty well without putting dots on it on the thing.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so
Are the
he's
dot?
got that pretty waxed.
I say, aren't the dots just like printed things, or are they like? Is there
It's a
more
little
to them?
sticker. It's a little stick-on
Okay.
dot that's
Right.
retroreflective. But yeah,
Okay.
they are silly expensive, and if it's not
I was
the
just,
right dot, apparently it doesn't work or some shit.
oh, okay. I was like, they seem like they'd be very basic to make, but I got
Yeah,
you.
so
Okay.
we ended up just throwing a couple cloths in there and like the box from the scanner and some sticks and things, just so it has
Right.
enough texture to track where it's going. Because there's repeating patterns, and if you're not
Correct.
careful, you end up with a thing that's a million miles long because it just thinks the pattern keeps repeating. If it doesn't have
Ah,
any tracking
gotcha.
data, yeah. So,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
like he scanned his car and he had no issues, but the boat's got some repeating patterns, so we just had to be
Fair enough.
a little bit cautious. So yeah, hopefully I'll get that from him soon, and then I can design all the things I need to design.
I want one of those for no reason other than to piss around with. Like,
They don't do so. We try to scan something small. They don't do small stuff very well. I ended up
okay.
just modeling it by hand with a vernier. We
I
tried
remember
and tried and tried. It will
way
not
back
work.
in the days, I messed around with a software called David Laser Scanner, and it was like with a, you used like a light beam, and it was doing
Yes.
then they went to like projectors to project patterns on things, and like I messed around with that a ton, and that was before the like everyone started using those Xbox Connects.
Yeah,
Actually, I had my wife was scanned by Xbox Connect at like a maker fair, and then I printed her. That was
nice.
kind of fun. But the same thing, super low
Yeah,
res, like looks like you're made out of clay. Whereas nowadays they have just insane
yeah.
resolution, even for the
S-
fairly inexpensive ones.
I think the boat we did at 2 millimeter resolution because that's
Wow,
fine. Yeah, like
totally,
why
yeah,
why make a billion points? But I think his one goes down to like point 0.1.
that's nuts.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
nuts.
stupidly tight resolution. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely insane. So okay, the okay, we're gonna come back to the smart everyday thing because I also have a smart everyday topic. Um,
Cool.
but for now, tell me why you need more SFMs.
So I was looking more into the screws. There's a guy on. Oh, I should call out his name here because he was helpful on Instagram. Um, I'm not going to be able to find him now because it's deep in the world. Anyways,
No,
he
no,
was
no, keep
machining.
looking, keep looking. I'm gonna play the music.
Oh, it'll take me way longer than the music runs for. It's in my feed somewhere, so I don't even Omni something maybe
Okay.
Omni. Anyways, he's building some of those titanium screws, and he's machining Torx pockets as well. So I kind of just
Yeah.
commented on him like, hey, that looks pretty good. Like I could kind of see the step over and whatnot he was using. So he told me to use. I think he was using Micron tools, Mitsubishi or Micron. Um, and so, anyways, I looked them up and I found there's like a PDF showing like feeds and speeds and recommended everything, and it's wildly different than the Harvey ones, which is kind of funny. So I was looking at that, and it recommended a minimum for a 0.01 inch end mill, whatever that like that's 0.3 millimeters, I think,
Yeah.
ish. Uh, it recommended like 98 SFM as a minimum, which works out to like 35,000 RPM, up to like
Oh, jeez.
200 SFM, which is like, I don't know, 60,000 RPMs. I was like, huh. So I know like upper SFMs, like those, you typically don't want to exceed those because you're pushing the knife too fast through material, if you want to think of
Yes.
it that way, and you're just going to break down the edge. I don't know if you go too slow, if there's any detrimental. Like to me, I always assume like if you go too slow on SFM, you're just increasing your tool. You're leaving time on the table, but you're increasing your tool life because you're pushing the cutter through the material slower. There's no detriment as far as I
Mhm.
understand. Maybe there is detriment to it. I
Yeah,
don't know enough. I can't think
you
about it.
might
Like I
not
can't think
be
why it
in
would cause
the.
problems.
Well, there was
Like
a
maybe
there was a
like
podcast
not
with
activate.
Marvin Groh from
Yeah, like
Curt,
if
and
you're
he
not
was
activating a coating or something, I can understand that. But like for an
or
uncoated tool,
getting the material into its ductile regime. So he was saying
okay,
they run aluminium at like stupid high CFM or RPM, and they actually
right,
push it into a different cutting regime. And with harder stuff, getting it to within a certain band, it actually allows it to be cut. Whereas if you're below that band, the material acts solid and won't actually be ductile for the cut. So it may
okay.
be something along those lines, but yeah,
That makes. I mean, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, because
makes some sense.
this one recommended 98 to 197 SFM, which you're screaming to get a little tool spinning that fast.
Yeah,
And then the feed is the fun part. So I was cutting at like uh I don't know, like a 10th chip load or something like that. This one is
yeah,
recommending 0.00004. So like 40 millionths chip load.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's tiny. And
yeah.
when
No,
you work
that's
that out,
just
if unless you're spinning at like 60,000 RPM, it's going to
yeah.
be like, okay, it's going to be 14 minutes to do this one little Torx pocket. It's like, oh. So,
Have
anyway,
you looked at air turbine or air? Yeah,
I have looked at a few of them. The one I did find one that was an air turbine that I think I can plumb from the side, and it's about 5 grand, and that'll go anywhere between about 40 to 90,000 RPM, depending on what you
okay,
spec it at. That
yeah,
should
because
be
there's
enough.
air
Obviously, I want to see if
turbine
I can do it
tools.
without first, but
Yeah, obviously. Um, yeah, air
like if
turbine tools is the one that comes to mind for me, but that's mostly because they're advertised at the Toolpath booth. They're one of the sponsors at IMTS.
if I had through spindle, there's some other options where you can get more compact units, like the ones that you shrink the turbine or you put the turbine
Yeah,
right on the tool. But I don't have through spindle. I don't have through spindle in a reliable sense. Like I have purge, but I don't have like an
you
easy
don't.
way to
Yeah,
just. So it'd be external, but I don't know. I want to see if I can do it with just a spindle first.
Yeah,
No
I'm
sense
sure you can.
adding.
I mean,
I can't see
Grimsmo
why not.
Grimsmo machine things forever at 18,000 RPM, I think, with the speed on
Yeah,
the Nakamura. So
yeah. Like I can't see why it wouldn't
yeah,
work. So I don't know, but yeah, that makes sense. I got to read more about the like ductile states of material because that is a good point. I never really considered
yeah,
that.
I think that
Hmm.
might have something to do with it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
I don't know if you saw before we logged on the stuff that I was up to this afternoon.
no, I kind of was running around with my chicken
Uh,
like a chicken with my head cut off. So what are you up to?
I had a small die set in the mill,
Okay.
so I could hard mill a pocket into it because they accidentally
Okay.
drilled some holes that the back of ejectors were not lining up with. So they needed me to hard mill a pocket so that they can drop a piece of gauge plate into it as a kind of
Ah.
half cock fix. But yeah,
Right, right,
that was
right.
fun. Turns out hard milling's not that hard. You just go slow
Nice.
and it works. Like shallow pass, I basically half feeded it. So like
Mm,
1,700 RPM on a 6 mil end mill. And then I
mm.
think I went like 600 mils a minute, point 0.1 step down, just ramp down, and then feed slow feed finish, and then just walked it out till the piece of gauge plate dropped in. Then they're going to wire cut the ends, wire cut some holes, and then wire cut the other end. I'll
Oh,
make
cool.
that their problem tomorrow. And then I had to hard mill some countersinks as well. Yeah, put a pin in, probe the pin, and because the end was all mangled, and then just came in with a ball mill that is no longer ball shaped, and machined in some pockets for them.
Cool.
But yeah, silly job. They messaged me on Saturday evening about this. I'm like, I'm at a wedding, bro. I'll deal with this on Monday. And then they phoned me today, and I'm like, no, bring it through. I'll sort you out. I
Oh,
was busy on
nice.
the lathes this morning and the grinder, and then they brought it through. And then when I was done on the grinder and the one lathe, I started playing on it.
Sick. That's cool.
Yeah, I made a few parts today though.
Yeah. How many?
It's the most parts I've made in a day on the MCO.
Oh, on the MCO too. Okay.
Yes. So I'm literally, it's 4 millimeter material. I'm turning a pin on the front, like just a little
Yeah.
step, and then I'm parting off. And
Okay.
it was just over 800.
That's a lot.
And
That's
of
a
those,
lot.
300 were scrap.
Oh no.
16 parts in, the insert chipped, and I didn't catch it for 300 parts because I was busy
Oh
running a lathe and a
no.
grinder. So eventually, like, yeah, 10, must have been about 12 bars in. Granted, it's not expensive, but annoying. I
Right.
loaded and I'm like, let me just see on the first part how this is coming out. I'm like, oh, well, that's not what it's meant to look like. So I pulled the bin out,
Uh,
the part bin, I put it in the colander, washed it to Danica. Please sort through here, find me all the ones that look correct and all the ones that don't. And there were 16 that looked correct out of like 350 of them. And it's
what
not
material?
worth brass, 4 millimeter brass. So it's
Okay.
not expensive. So, like, I'll send it tomorrow. I'm going to run what's left and send it to go buy more brass. It's less effort to run new parts than to rework these parts
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
because I don't want to stand there and load them one at a time into the chuck.
Totally.
So
Yeah, yeah.
I'll just, yeah, suck it up. But yeah, while that was making scrap, I was busy finishing up the surface grinder automation. So that's about as done as it's going to be for a while. Um,
mm,
Ended up just printing a box with two switches. Turns out it's much easier when you have two switches instead of one trying to pull double duty.
mhm.
And then yeah, I was. It took way too long to grind those anchor point pads because some smart dick left 0.5 millimeter on them.
Right.
So I ended up just roughing down comma 3 off of that. So they all had comma 2 left. And then I went and dressed the wheel, touch off, grind off that comma 2. And then it's a relatively quick process. It's like 10 minutes. But if you go from comma 5 down to finished, it ends up taking about 45 minutes because the wheel starts getting clogged up.
Oof.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just rough ground it really badly and then put them back in and finish ground them.
Nice.
But batch
Nice.
one is now assembled. All that is going on in batch one is assembled, and there are still 2 units available.
Ooh.
I was just assembling as orders were coming in, but now they are all done and inside. One of them got a very much not in sequence serial number, as requested by Jacob.
Oh, what did he get?
What number do you think he got?
Oh, 69.
Obviously. Because nice. So I made in my serial number file on my laser, it's got batch one, then what serial numbers were used, and then
Yeah.
69 equals 8 because it's number 8. Just so I have track of which ones went where.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he wanted 69. I was like, no problem. Because I
That's
ended up
cool.
chatting to him until like midnight the other nights on Discord after helping EJ. Then
Mm-hmm.
Jacob and I ended up chatting for a few hours. And then I was like, no, he's
Oh,
waiting for
cool.
his zometry check. Then he wants to pick up an anchor point, and then picked up an anchor point over the weekend.
Oh, cool. That's nice.
So yeah, and we got one that shipped out last week, and then FedEx. They picked up Friday afternoon. I wasn't here. I
Mm-hmm.
left the box with all the paperwork with my mother-in-law. End up at the wedding. I'm like, oh, let me track the parcel because I checked my cameras. I saw it was picked up. So I was like, cool, let me track it. Exception, missing paperwork. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what?
Mm.
So I messaged the freight forwarding company Tunnel, and they obviously don't work on the weekend because they're living their best lives. So they're like, we'll get back to you on Monday morning. I'm like, no problem. So like 9:30 this morning, send a message to them, hey, just following up on this, get a message back. We're looking into it. We're just clearing up the backlog from the weekend. We'll be back. We'll get back to you shortly. And then about an hour later, I got a message saying, no, we spoke to the guys at FedEx. There's no problem. It's in Dubai already. So I don't know if someone
Oh,
just cocked it up for the weekend. So I sat stressing all weekend for nothing.
right.
But anyway,
Yeah.
it's on its way. And let me quickly have a look here. Okay, cool. Time to butcher some names.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a shout out to our Patreons because we have some new ones, including the
Ooh.
person whose anchor point is on the way. So our new Patreons are, sorry, Adam, I'm going to butcher your surname. Adam Dark A? Yeah, anyway, I asked you how to say it. You haven't come back to me, so sorry. And then we got Joa Harrison. I'm assuming that's how you spell you pronounce your name. Thank you both. You guys joined at the lower tiers, but since you joined, you get a shout out. Sorry, Joe, for not shouting you out sooner. I forgot. And then thanks to Jade from Benchmark 20 and Luke from Fabtastic on the higher tiers, who get a shout out every week. And to all the Patreons, there is a super secret after show that you can get if you're on the Patreon. I think on any of the paid tiers above $4. And yeah, Patreon makes the wheels on the bus go round and round, and will hopefully enable us to get some fancy cameras soon instead of using old cell phones. So yeah, thank you to everybody on the Patreon. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also need to shout out one other person who ordered some shirts. Oh look, he's on my screen.
Weird.
Yeah, very weird. Yeah, Kurt ordered some shirts, so he got. I don't know. He can keep them as a surprise, and he can show them off when they arrive.
Yeah, I had to
Super
get some of the
classy.
I had to get some of the chip fan ones and then the face mail. They're
The
so
Facebook.
like shipping has gotten even cheaper to me now. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I can just like because I usually want to order a bunch, so I'd be like absorb the shipping costs.
Yeah.
And now I think it was like $7 to ship it to me or something. So I was like,
Oh,
or
nice.
no, sorry, $10.70. So I was like, yeah, I'll just I got to slowly replace my entire wardrobe with those shirts. So
Yeah, I was wearing my face mail shirts at the wedding for breakfast.
perfect.
Yeah,
It's a
class
perfect
for
shirt for that.
days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
why
no,
not?
I was exuding class at the wedding. But yeah, it was lots of fun. So, Kurt,
Yeah.
have you read through all of my topics for this week?
I have read through a lot of them. There's some weird ones there.
There's one specifically for you.
I see there's fruit grip there. I'm assuming
There
that one
we
is
go. I realized I
something to.
haven't asked you what's happening with the fruit grip in a long time.
Oh, it is on. I have the design drawn up. You're gonna get the first fruit grip. Uh,
Fun.
I'm just trying to get the. I don't. For some reason, the Siemens the style unit is not doing the chamfer on this one part on the fourth axis the way I want it to. Like I can't figure out why. I don't know why it's basically blowing a corner.
On the
And
on the
yeah,
J.
it's doing the milling of the little J
Yeah.
perfectly, and then after I come around with a chamfer mill and just put a nice chamfer on everything, and it's just kind of like wherever it's coming in, it leads fine, and then it's just like it hammers on the gas too hard when it's coming out, and it blows the corner. Like it's wider. You can only see it under a microscope, but like the back corner is wider.
Yeah.
Like this is not a big issue, but like I'm like, I don't understand. So you can use there's like a G64, which is like your, tolerance
Yeah, your
on
smoothing
Linux
tolerance.
anyways.
Yeah.
And then there's Siemens has their own like input of like, how tight do you want this feature? Do you want a balance of accuracy or speed? But I can't figure out why it's getting pissy on the fourth axis. So
Didn't you didn't you work around this back in the day by drawing a sketch to get the chamfer the way you wanted it on the Curt?
yeah, on the well,
Kind
the
of remember
Curt
that from like one of your blogs or some vlogs back
yeah,
in the day.
the issue with it is it did the corners fine, like it didn't blow any corners, but just when you're rotating, like we were saying, depends where you're following on the circumference, you get weird.
Yeah,
So like a chamfer on the x axis will be wider than a chamfer on the y axis because you have to turn further. Like let's say you have to turn 10
yeah,
degrees. If you want the matching chamfer, you have to turn like 15 degrees, not 10 degrees. Let's just say if it's 10 degrees either way from zero. But your CAD program won't output that. You can stretch and skew it a little bit with Fusion, but it won't do it visually perfect. The best way to do it is just 3D machine the chamfer. So that's what I
yeah,
did do. But yeah, I don't know why it's just annihilating that corner. Like a chamfer, a single cut chamfer is still nicer looking than surfaced.
yeah.
Once again, under a microscope, visually, like you look at it with your eyes, you're not going to see the difference. But all the savages that buy my pens look at them through microscopes and dumb
Yeah.
stuff. So I got to think about those dorks. Anyways, minor, but like I'm just trying to figure out why it's coasting through that. It's something. Once again, it's something stupid. It's something similar or something simple, but I just can't figure it
It's
out. So
something small that you just need to figure
yeah,
out.
yeah, and just like a little thing, like it's blowing corners on A's and just once again very minor. Like, but just I'll find it. It's something. It's some dumb fusion setting. It's an arc tolerance setting, or it's a acceleration
Yeah,
setting, or it's a something. I don't know what it is. So
yeah. And then I see you
say
fusion
one sec.
can engrave without exploding.
Yes. So a lot like the whole reason I did back in the Dizay, and a lot of people I know that serialize their products because they all reached out to me with sympathizing feelings. Were like, they're like, yes. Like a ton of knife makers are like, yeah, I remember I engraved my first 1,000 serial numbers by manually posting every single serial number. And I'm like, yep, I did my first, like, I don't know, 300 serial numbers manually posting each serial number before I made my auto serializing macro. But doing it on these Altum parts, it's text on a curve, which kind of complicates the way I have to run my
Yeah.
macro because I was using for my pens, I was just using basically a translation of the position. So it's very simple because it's only moving in X, whereas this one is moving in X, Y, and it's rotating. So the macro gets a lot more complicated. Which you can just do like a rotational skew that'll work too.
Yeah.
But I realized Fusion now will support engraving without exploding your text. So you can type in some text
Oh
and just
yeah.
put an engraving path on there, and it's fine. Like back in the day, you had to explode all your text, single line font. You had to explode it so it would actually read it right. But now it
Okay.
doesn't. So it's way easier to edit. So yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
took like a 5-minute job down to like a 10-second job. So I'm still going to manually post like the first, I don't know, 100 serial numbers here until I figure out if I actually want to do it this way. So,
Yeah. And what
but yeah,
about yeah? Okay. You remember I sent you my serializing thing for Linux back in the day for that job that
yep,
I yeah. What
yep,
about just outputting each digit instead of so you output for each position the 10 digits, so 0 through 9, and then
yes,
you can just call them and the spacing should be pretty close.
yes, yeah. You could. That's exactly the way that
Yeah.
I'll end up doing it. It just gets significantly longer, but like, the machine doesn't care how long the text file
No,
is.
the
It's
machine.
not gonna get lazy walking that far. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably the way I'll go. That's I hacked it on with the new one just so I didn't have to have
Yeah.
40 billion lines of code. But yeah, that's probably the way I'll do it.
Yeah. It takes a few hours to get set up, but then it's set up and done.
Yeah, and that's as the balance is doing. I'm like, okay, I'm building like 24 of these little mechanisms,
Yeah.
and I'm like, it's going to take me 2-3 hours to do the macro. I'm like, how about I just punch
Yeah.
all the code out,
Make
take me 20 minutes, and I'll kick this can down the road.
Yeah, and then just make sure you don't load the wrong program number and have two of the same number.
Yeah, well, at least the part's easy to cut, so and it's
Yeah.
cheap. So if I mess up, you can bin it. Unlike a pen,
Yeah.
where it's like if I mess up a pen, it kind of sucks. So
Yeah. That's
anyway,
why you only serialize the clip.
that's yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
exactly why
No,
I serialized the clip.
I was also trying to explain to over the weekend why your pens cost what they cost. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's not just buy a piece of tube and shove a pen in it. It's machined from solid. The bores are reamed. Like, it's a hell of a thing. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
like
piss ton of work. But
Trying to explain it to a layman is not easy.
yeah,
Even someone who understands machining, trying to explain to them how it can be, who would pay for it, like that kind of
totally,
goes over a lot of people's heads. But
totally.
yeah,
Yeah, like
it
my
is a
neighbor
piece of art.
my neighbor caught me on the driveway and she's like, "Oh, she's like, I heard you machine pens. Like, I've been doing this forever." And she's like,
Yeah,
I would, her kids are in university or whatever. She's like, I would love to buy them some. I was like, okay. I'm like, oh, it's a little bit of a wait. She's like, wait, there's a wait? You have like people? I'm like, yeah, I know. I have few people that want them. She's like, oh, she's like, well, how much are they? I was like, so I told her the price. She's like, what? She's like, I thought they're like $50. I was like, sorry, no. She's like, okay, never mind. No, she's like, you go do your thing. I was like, okay, well, thank you. So, but
yeah,
it's same thing. If you're not in that world, you're like, who in the right mind would, who in the right mind would spend $2,000 on a pocket knife? Go
yeah,
talk to a bunch
exactly.
of the nerds that just met up in the show, down in the
Yeah,
States. Like, they'll be like, of course I will. Like, what are you talking about?
yeah. When in Blinken Island, like, what do you mean? I want three
Mm-hmm.
of them, please. Like, yeah, it's the
Exactly.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's different, different strokes for different folks.
Totally, man. Like,
I
you're
probably would never buy a $2,000 pocket knife, but
right.
who knows?
Yeah. But I mean, some people will buy a $200 pair of pants. Will you buy a
Yeah,
$200 pair of pants? Like,
no.
probably
Actually,
not.
speaking of, I bought new pants, so my pants don't have holes in them. Um,
Ooh.
who the hell is phoning me? Go away. Go away. Bloody mother in law. It's a Monday night. She knows what goes on. Um, yeah, no, like I mean, I'm wearing $20 pants or $25 pants. I won't spend more than that again. My old pants were like $40 and they would last three wears and then they would be broken. So we're trying out new ones. The only problem with the new ones is if my phone's in my pocket, I can't bend my leg. They're not stretchy in any way, shape, form. They're technician pants, which I like. It's just getting used to them still.
Jamie's blacktopping pants.
Yeah, no, I
Going
mean,
out on the town.
yeah, no. Yeah, I thought I had a hole in my new pants, but I don't. It's just some random crap. But yeah, it turns out I didn't make enough blank pallets.
Oh, they all got snapped up? Or they're
Not
getting
yet.
snapped up?
There are two spares.
Oh, you had a shit ton though.
Yeah, I made 46.
Holy Christ.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
the anchor point that went out last week had six blank pallets, so two in the kit and four additionals.
I get it. It's
Yeah.
cheaper than buying and making it yourself. So
So I've ordered material today to just quickly make another 10 or 15 so that I have stock for myself and for the remaining anchor points. Because
nice.
currently they are starter kits and two spare pallets.
Cool.
Yeah, so trying to just get ahead on that. And then ordering the material for batch two. Or
Nice.
at least for the bodies, because those are going to take the longest. So batch
Yeah.
two is now officially in the works. Not as in the
Ooh.
works as I wanted, but that's fine. Like I wanted to buy a bunch of new tooling and stuff, but guess what? I made the last batch with what I have, so I'll make the next batch with what I have, and then I will
Yeah.
roll into some more fancy tools.
Yeah.
Being responsible adults and things, and
Yeah.
actually paying for my machine instead of buying tools.
It's a struggle. Like, yeah, I know
Yeah.
you get cash. You're like, I want to spend it on making things easier. It's like, well, you did it once. You could do it again and just hold that cash and you'd
Well,
probably be
that's
better for
exactly
it.
it. Well, that's it. Like I was expecting an order to come through or payments to come through on Friday, didn't come through. Now I'm like scrambling.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we are going to be responsible adults for the next short while and get ourselves a little bit out of the red that I'm not stressing as much because my one customer is still dragging their feet and I'm progressively getting less and less interested in their work. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, I still need it for now.
Yeah.
Although, could probably make a pretty penny by convincing them to go find another supplier and selling them their drawings because they sure as hell don't own them. But yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, we won't complain about that. We will look forward. The Tufnell job has come through, so I ordered
Nice.
all the material this afternoon for the riser and the vacuum chuck and the fixture, and yeah, it's a bit silly. My
Nice.
CAD model of my riser and my machine don't quite tie up by like a bit. So I probed it today, the top of my riser and the top of an anchor point. so that I know exactly how much space I need. So I'm just going to put 2 bars and then put a pallet on the anchor points, and then just bolt the whole plate onto that, and that'll work.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll work for the interim. Instead of putting anchor points across my whole bed, because I kind of want to sell them instead.
Yeah. Yeah. No, fair enough. Yeah. I get
No,
that.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah. I know
yeah.
the entire time I was machining the little fixture to hold those Altum things, I was just looking at the anchor point pallet. I'm like, oh, I should really be doing this on that because it's annoying. Like I said, it's
You
tape and glue.
definitely
So
should
it's
be.
like, I was like, why am I doing this on a stupid vice pallet? I'm doing it because I want to prototype and see if it works
Yeah.
but I was just like, oh, I could just be doing this exact same thing on the anchor point pallet. And then I wouldn't stress about loading. I just go put one in and go boop, and then hit go, and then take my sweet time to load the next one and then keep it running. Yeah.
You've
So
you've only got the 2 blank pallets, eh?
I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, just typing something into the confuser quickly. I know you're not in the US.
America.
Get another quote. Just want to see something quickly. One moment,
Do do
please.
do
Loading.
do
You're
do
gonna have
do
to
do
sing.
do do do
Uh,
do 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 do.
Sorry,
Jamie
if I don't
types
do
up
it
a
now, I am gonna
podcast.
forget.
But yeah, no, I will
Oh,
definitely get more pallets from you because it makes no sense to make my own.
yeah. We'll
Although
need
the
to
unfortunate,
see. We'll need to see about what the most effective way to ship them is.
I'll just order enough so it works out. Whatever it
Yeah,
costs, I'll just
I haven't actually got them
skew.
listed as individual items. I normally just like they go
Mm,
with the pallet system, and then
mm,
it kind of all shakes out. So I'll have to
yeah,
just see how I'm gonna work that out, because the shipping is a little brutal.
I just buy like a block of like 30 of them or something like that. Then like whatever works out.
Well,
This
yeah,
shipping's $300. Like I'll
by
just scale
the
it. Like
by the looks of it, it works out. It basically 2 pallets they're about $50 a pallet with shipping, including shipping. And then
okay,
as the
gotcha.
number goes up, it becomes like $40 if you order per pallet. If you order 2 pallets, 4 pallets, and then if you order 6, it'll come down a little bit more, because the shipping. I was kind of expecting a cheaper rate than that, but anyway,
Yeah,
I guess it is
shipping.
heavy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it
that's true.
is. It is 900 grams a pallet, so
Yeah,
they
I
add
guess
up
they're a little
quickly.
weighty. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, for
they
sure.
add up very quickly. So yeah. Anyway, I thought I'd
Yeah,
just have a look quickly on Tunnel and see what the price on shipping looks like.
yeah. Oh,
But yeah,
shipping's
don't
always
order
fun.
30, because then I'm gonna have to send you a container.
I would not. Don't worry. I'll give you a heads up. I'm not going to just. Right now, it's sitting on my bench. If I had 30 of them, they're just going to sit on the bench beside
Yeah.
it because I got too many GD irons in the fire right now. So got to
Yes.
stop pissing around and yeah. Anyway, too many
Yeah, I
things.
had a
Too many
meeting
fun
with one
things.
customer on for Thursday to plan out what I still owe him, because he's the kind of customer who pays you for things and then doesn't ask you for them, so you forget about them. Yeah, so busy trying to chase down all the stuff that I owe him. So I've got a long list of things that I owe him. So that needs to all get loaded into Trello, and then make me
Mm-hmm.
depressed because I'm going to be machining things for free for like a month. But yeah, it's fine. Like I mean, I've got stuff that's been sitting since January that is half machined, and I'm scared of putting the side holes in because I'm worried I'm going to stuff them up.
Oh
Yeah, like just being
no.
paranoid. Um, yeah, I need to. That's on the to do list for this week. I want to give those to him at the end of the week. So I need to
Cool.
make a fixture to do so, and then make some stupid little 1911 pins, which I still need to find the sample of, which is somewhere. Make a drawing and then blank out these pins. Yeah, I
Cool.
had to polish out a collet this morning. So a new 4mm 5C collet was tight
Mm-hmm.
on my brass. So cut a
Oh.
piece of brass, diamond compound, hone the thing
Mm.
out until it's loose, and the bar will actually feed.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, that took all of like 15, 20 minutes, and then made 800 pots. So,
Oh, nice.
well, made 500 good pots, 300 that
Yeah.
are going to scrap. Yeah, and
Yeah. Yeah.
180 kilos of aluminium shavings.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, and I got half of what I got last time per kg. Scrap
Why?
prices are down, apparently.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it fluctuates wildly.
Huh.
So, but it's fine. It's bonus money, so I don't really mind.
Yeah. I
Like,
know. Same thing. Like when I take titanium in, like yeah, it's nice that I get money for it, but honestly, I just if it's getting recycled and I don't have to like pay to dispose of it, like I don't really care. Like I don't
no,
make
that's
enough
it.
scrap
Like,
to make it worth my while.
yeah, I keep all the aluminium separate. I need to clean out my tank. Yeah, that's on the to do list, along with moving the MCO forward by like 120 millimeters,
Why come?
so that the chiller for the LK can slip in behind it, and Monica can sit right by the door, so I can use Monica easily without having to
Ah,
scoot it through the entire workshop. Because I need to
nice.
do the LK's tank, and I haven't because I have to scoot it through the whole workshop.
Gotcha.
Yeah, removing
Gotcha.
barriers because I am
Yeah.
lazy as hell.
No, that's the way to do it. Make like yeah, you don't have to be motivated. Just make things easier. Yeah, a
Exactly.
hundred
Yeah, I
percent.
like that. You
Yeah,
don't have to be motivated, just make things easier.
yeah,
Yeah, like today. So these the final anchor points. I've been grinding the pads when I get a gap, and then I got frustrated with the old cross feed on the thing because it was being dumb. So I got that fixed today. Ground all the things. It literally took me like 30 minutes to assemble all the anchor points, like all
oh,
five of
that's
them.
cool.
It's
That's
super quick.
cool.
Like it's all processed. Everything's in bins. You just go through the process, and it's super quick. And then set the mill up and mill the back of them off so that they are exactly 49 millimeters. And
Nice.
it's a pretty straightforward process now. It's been designed to be a straightforward process.
Right.
Yeah, I see you've got a thing about packaging. That's on my
Mm-hmm.
to-do list tomorrow because I'm out of inserts for my boxes. So I'll send
Mm.
Danica down to the box shop. I'm actually going to get it to print the. So there's like a little corner print shop. They do the DHL services and they sell boxes. So I'm going to get it to go
Mm-hmm.
print out my new process charts for the anchor points because I made a bunch of changes to those. Obviously, going through production, things change. Um, so I'm going to get it to get those printed and laminated, and then also buy me some boxes because that's the easiest way to get cardboard for the laser.
Oh yeah, yeah, fair,
Yeah,
fair.
I'll
Yeah,
buy a stock box 5 or 6, and it's 600 by 300, which is perfect. Zip it
nice.
apart, shove it in the machine, and then let the laser my packaging for me. So now we're
Cool.
busy going through the process of getting all the inserts and stuff. I want to get that all done well ahead of time for the next batch. That I have 20 of everything on the shelf. When it comes to pack, I just pack the order. I'm not like, oh, Danica, I need a thank you card or I need the little top cover insert thing. Like, just everything must be
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
And then
No,
I might even buy a workbench for my packaging room, also known as my sister in law's childhood bedroom. Turns out she's the only child to have ever stayed in that bedroom, like on a permanent
oh,
basis. The one
huh.
next to it was Danica and Adams, and then, yeah, weirdness.
Hmm.
But it's now the packaging room. It's got all the anchor point stuff and all the mag bases and things stored in it because then they're not in the garage.
Yeah. No, it
And
makes it
may as
easy too.
well.
Then you just
Well,
walk
the
in and get it
room's
done.
not getting used. I may as well use it for
Totally.
something productive. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I've got a shelf in the garage I want to pull out of the garage and bring into the house with and just stack full of all the finished stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I actually want to do the anchor point assembly in that room as well. So bring all the components out and then
Mm-hmm.
assemble in the room, and then it goes back to the garage for the final machining up and lasering, and then comes back for packaging. But that
Yeah.
way, I'm not having stacks of finished parts in the garage potentially getting damaged.
Yep. No, that
Because
makes perfect sense.
yeah, that does happen. Drop something and then yeah, parts scrapped.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
try and avoid that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is
I
your
know.
packaging fun?
Same thing. Packaging these little widgets, which they're about like an inch and a half circle. So
Yeah,
just
but
trying to
aren't you
find
going
a
to like
different.
3D print a case and then a foam insert?
Basically, yeah. I got clear cases, clear snap cases, little squares,
Yeah.
and I'll laser in like branding stuff on the top and bottom, and there'll be a foam insert to hold everything. And they come with little tools, so there'll be little tools that go in there too, serialized, all that jazz, all the
Thought you were going to just use a
whatever.
coin, Kurt.
I was, but you know what? I'm pedantic, and then with the finish, like a coin will slightly mar the finish if you slip out. So then I'm like, well, it's no like I have room on the build plate, and it doesn't take any time. So now I'm 3D printing little plastic things so that if you slip, it doesn't harm the finish at all. So it looks the same because whatever. Because yeah, um, so, so it'll come with those, and then it's just yeah, it
Uh,
just thankfully like these are like part comes off the lathe, it's done. Like parts come off the
Yeah.
printer, they're ready. Like the only processing I'm doing is blasting to get a nice uniform finish. The Ultim parts come
Yes.
directly off the machine and they're ready to go. Like their edge broke. I put edge brakes on everything. Like I made it so that there would be very little manual work because my pens are just a copious amount of manual work. So I'm trying to go the other
Yeah.
way for this product. But yeah, packaging is fun. I love packaging. So getting little clear containers and whatnot, and then boxes. And then I'm kind of trying to switch away. I use Uline for a ton of my boxes, but as a company, I don't, I don't really like what they stand for as a company. So I'm as a company, like they're fantastic to deal with, but
Yeah.
overarching, their owner is kind of a dick. So I'm trying to get away from using them and just finding other suppliers that aren't
Yeah.
just rebranding Uline or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And then
I feel
also
like there'd be a
produce a
lot of
quality
that.
item. Yeah, well, and that's the problem is like I can get some of these boxes off Amazon, which is fine, and I can find out where they're sourced, whatever. Like I went through all the Canadian suppliers trying to buy boxes, and they're all pains in the ass to work with. No one wants to work with me. No one is producing a good item, and that kind of ties into the smarter everyday thing we can talk about.
Yes.
But it's just like I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like you're making and besides, I'll get off that soapbox. I've exhausted all those, so just trying to find different. But the problem is like some of these Amazon suppliers, you're like, oh, the price is great, the quality looks good.
Yeah.
It's like, but will I get it in 6 months? Like, will you still be around in 6 months, or will it change slightly? Because then it changes all my downstream effects. So it's like
Yeah.
trying to find something that's reliable too is kind of, yeah,
Well, yeah,
I
I
don't know.
was trying to explain that to a guy today. One of my ex-colleagues, he came and grabbed oiler from me, and
Mhm.
then we were looking to buy more oilers. I'm like, no, buy from this store. I've bought from them before. He's like, no, it isn't exactly like the one he had. I'm like, it's coming from China. It's never going to
Yeah,
be exactly like the one you ordered last time. But he
yeah,
wants them to be the same. Otherwise, the guys ask questions like, why is it different? And yeah,
totally.
it's easier to just have the same product again and again. So
Hmm.
we trying to source from the same supplier in the hopes that they're somewhat similar every time.
Yeah.
Because unless
Well,
you're
then
buying a whole batch, you can't guarantee it.
yeah, and then I went through like the whole rigmarole of like these could technically be shipped by bubble mailers. I just don't typically like bubble mailers because they don't feel as luxurious as opening a box, and it really doesn't
Yeah,
cost anything different to ship a box as opposed to a bubble mailer. So it's just like people like
yeah,
opening boxes. Like no one likes a plastic package to open. Don't care how
yeah.
pretty it is. It's just not as
Oh,
exciting.
I got a paper envelope in my post box. I was rather
Ooh.
shocked. Yeah, no, I was like a little bit taken aback. It was my smart everyday stickers for being a Patreon and sticking with
Oh,
them.
sick.
Yeah, I was like,
Cool.
sweet. I figured like they were never going to arrive because I got my baseball like a few months ago, and then yeah,
Mm-hmm.
literally was took my bins out on Thursday and was walking back into the yard, and I'm like, hey, what's that in the post box? It's a post. And yeah, it had some stickers. So
Wow.
my door now has a cicada on it and the
Sick.
square sticker, and then I kept the clip sticker for Danica.
Cool.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that the video that you were referring to there was
Hmm.
released on his Patreon a few months ago. So
I
I
think so.
think I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
watched it, yes. But yeah, interesting. The rabbit hole he went down on that.
Totally. Yeah. And if anyone has some time, go watch the Smarter Everyday video on him
Yeah,
making a product in America. We'll link it in the show notes. It's a fantastic insight as to why things aren't made, and it doesn't have to be America. Insert whatever country you
anyway,
want. It's
yeah,
just like it's a huge talk of like how much we've pushed away our manufacturing just in pursuit of like the higher intellect level work, to the point
yeah,
where it's a detriment where you can't, like, you want a mold made, good luck. Like
yeah.
no shop around here is going to make you a mold, and if they do, they're going to outsource it to a country that is specializing in that, where their technology is superior to pretty much any first world country now. It was super eye
Or
opening.
their technology isn't superior and they believe in hand finishing. Because I machined some
Totally.
molds a while ago because we're
Yeah.
on the cheap end of the cost spectrum. So we end up
Yeah.
with silly things that we do. One of my customers does a whole bunch of work for a company in the UK because we're just that much cheaper
Hmm.
that we get the work. Yeah, but
But that doesn't
he
even
likes to race to the bottom. It's a bit of a problem. He broke a drill, and there goes his profit for the month.
Right. But that
Yeah,
doesn't even mean like it. Yeah, maybe like if you do more hand finishing, it doesn't mean it's lower quality. Like you can, like,
no,
mold polishing is an art, and like that's a skill. And like if you don't
it's
have
very
that
much.
skill base, yeah, if you don't have that skill base, you're not going to make good parts. Like I don't care how good your mold is. Like you still need to
Yeah,
have that skill of polishing molds. And like if you don't know how to do it and no one in your area does, like that's a skill that just died off. Like,
yeah.
yeah, it was
No,
a
that
really
is the
interesting
thing.
video.
Yeah, a lot of that skill has left, and getting
Yep.
it back is not an overnight thing.
Not at all.
Uh,
No.
yeah, because that seems to be the sentiment at the moment. Now we're going to bring jobs back to America or to our country, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that shit ain't happening overnight,
No.
because
No.
the only country that really, the only area that really does proper apprenticeships is Europe, like
Totally.
Germany,
Yeah. Yeah.
Austria. Those guys, they do really good apprenticeships, and that's how that knowledge is passed on. It's not
Yep.
passed on by everybody going to university and getting a degree,
No.
because that
Not at all.
degree ain't worth the paper it's printed on if everyone has one.
Yep.
Like, it's a similar problem we've run into here, where everyone thought they needed a degree. If you don't have a degree, you're way better off in South Africa at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Firstly, you're not asking a like stupid salary because you have a degree, but
Yeah.
you'll find that the people who don't have degrees tend to be a bit more practical, and
Hmm.
they're never looking for work
Yeah.
because they are capable and work finds them.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, and he even briefly touched on that same topic of like some of the higher level, like people like go to school, learn how to be a programmer. It's like, well, you know who's getting just worked for programming jobs right now? Programmers, because like the advancement of like AI and automated systems is stomping on that field, but it's definitely not stomping on mold finishing because we just
Yeah.
don't have the automation to make that work yet. And it's just like, it was really eye opening to be like, I totally agree with you. Like, and when I was going to school, they're like, you have to go to high or university and get, a big fancy degree. And like, I went to a trade school, and I'm like, I'm super thankful I did, because you can make a crazy amount of money in the trades,
Well,
and it's
I
it's
look,
skills that are useful.
I look at myself and my brother. I studied drafting. I went tertiary education. My brother didn't. He was like, no, he
Mhm.
doesn't really want to study. I think he was like, he'll take a gap year and see where his head's at. He got a job at a fishing shop. He always enjoyed fishing growing up. He now
Mhm.
develops fishing rods for a living. He
Yeah.
moved his way. He literally started there as a technician fixing fishing reels. And when
Yeah.
he was done with what he had to do, he would go onto the sales floor and sell things.
Yeah.
It got to the point that he was running the workshop, so rod manufacturing, like custom builds, repairs, the wholesale side of that, and still top salesman. And
Hmm.
then eventually it says, well, listen, I'm leaving to go to the wholesaling guys, which was also partially owned by the guy who owned the shop. And he moved there, and he's the right hand man there. Where
Mm.
like 2 years ago, he wanted to leave Durban and move down to the Cape. His boss and him, the conversation started off with, if you want to take a bit of a salary cut and maybe work remotely, to please don't leave us. Your salary can stay the same. Like, just please
Hmm.
don't leave us, because they can't afford to not have him around.
Yeah.
Like, so he works remotely from Plet and sees the whole of the Cape. He will get in his truck and go visit all the shops, but he's living his best life, and he hasn't studied tertiary at all. He's just got a work ethic and willing to put the work in, and that goes a hell of a long way.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
Could not agree
and
more.
I think that is a lot of the messaging at the moment on all the social media things regarding machining. Is you put in the effort and you'll get rewarded, and that is
Yeah.
true. Like, may not happen overnight, but you put in the effort and you're consistent, and good things come to those who will wait and are consistent.
Well, and we also, I think we've had a whole shift of like anybody that's good in this machining world is happily sharing what they know freely.
Yes.
Like they're like, look at was it like Marv with all his like Kern
Yeah.
related stuff, like just putting out crap tons of content, like Adam the Machinist and all these YouTubers we talked about that are just
Yeah.
going out of their way to produce content to educate. That's all they're doing. They're giving
Yeah.
all their knowledge in their head away for free. All you have to do is absorb it. Like it's
Yes.
crazy.
No, that's
It's not like,
exactly it. Like,
the
yeah,
crusty machinist anymore who's like, no, I'm hiding it because it's my secret. It's like, you're gonna die with it, old man. Like, share it.
the amount of people here with that mentality still is hilarious. Don't want to
Yeah.
share anything because they're adamant they are doing it the best way that it can possibly ever be done. It's like, dude, come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in the 80s still. Like, move on, please.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I was chatting to Carl last week. There was a video from, I can't remember the guy's name. He used to make, he probably still does, makes engines, little steam engines on a Shapeoko.
Sick.
What do you
Cool.
do when your Shapeoko is cutting an oval and you need a round bore? When
How do
you're
you,
trying to
how do you mean?
interpolate a round
Oh, okay.
bore, but it's cutting oval,
Hmm.
what do you do?
I, I don't plethora of things.
Measure the oval, model an oval, and get it to cut round.
Oh, sure. That's a way. Yeah, that's a way. Yeah, why not?
So I told Carl about this because that's one way of tackling it. Like, the machine
Mhm.
is a wet noodle.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
So you measure how much it's out of whatever, making an oval, and you compensate. And his
Yeah.
boss was having an issue, and Carl's like, no, why don't you just program an oval? And the guy's like, no, no,
Mhm.
go back and stand at your machine. So he's like, okay. And that's what he does now. When the boss says go stand at your machine, he goes, stands at his machine.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty because he's tired of giving suggestions and being told that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like that, I'm
Yeah.
waiting for that whole story to explode because it's going to. But anyway, Carl, love you lots. As I know he's busy listening through the backlog, so he will get to this at some point. Probably actually
Keep
soon because he's got a 2.5 hour drive back from Rustenburg tomorrow.
yeah,
But yeah,
keep
anyway,
keep doing that, Carl. Keep doing that thing, Carl.
yeah,
That makes sense.
just
Think outside the
tolerate his
box.
bullshit till you can buy a machine.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just
Like,
don't yeah, don't squash your brain. Let your think outside the box. It's a good idea.
yeah,
It's a good thing.
come work in my workshop, Carl. You can learn to do things somewhat properly. Yeah, he's actually that's Thursday. He's back in the workshop carrying on with the Titan
Hmm.
building blocks things. He needs some help modeling one or two of the things, and then we're going to program them and start running through. He's ordering material this week. So he got
Fun.
his business registered and email and everything set up. So he wants to order material for the building blocks. Oh, sorry,
Cool.
that he's not pillaging all my material. I'm like, I don't mind. It's in the scrap bin for a reason. Go
Mhm.
in the spare bin, like use it. But he wants to order it, so I'm like, that's fine. He wants to start building up a trail in his own company name. I was
Yeah,
like,
fair
fair
enough.
enough.
I get that. Yep.
Yeah.
I get that.
So yeah, we'll get material delivered from CDE, Carl's Design
Ooh.
Emporium.
Ooh.
Fancy name.
Nice.
Yeah. No, he's out doing some drafting work. He's been redrawing a bunch of drawings for these guys, and now they're missing a few pieces. So he's going to make drawings on site for the missing bits of the assemblies. So he's out. It's like a 2.5 hour drive from here. But anyway, he doesn't come past on a Monday. He comes past on a Tuesday and a Thursday
Hmm.
and a Friday. Wednesday, he does something on a Wednesday. I can't remember. But yeah, trying to get our schedules somewhat synced up on that one now.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
we're nearing the top of the
Yes.
hour, so
Hang on. There we go. Okay. Scrolling through the to-do list of documents. So, what have you been Googling, Kurt?
I have been Googling some of that fusion related stuff. Some of I was looking, I still have that credit from Sile. So I was actually looking,
Oh,
they have mist collectors. They're not the ones I would pick, but I mean, I'm applying a credit to it. So why not?
yeah.
So I was looking at I think it's the Filter Mist S800 is the one I'm looking at, which is a Royal. It's the same as Royal, like as far as I
Yeah.
understand, the branding sort of is different. So I think I'm going to have two of those coming. One with a gigantic after filter, which is heinously expensive. That'll go on the lathe, and then one without an after filter will go on the mill because it's not oil, so it's less
Yeah.
or it's easier to filter. So been Googling a bunch about that. And then on my other Google box, I have those tools I was talking about, some SFM calculators, Mitsubishi stuff, packing related things. And yeah, I have the JSpec engineering store open because I bought some shirts. So yeah,
Ah, yes.
that's what's
Fancy
been in
shirts.
my Google search history. How about you?
Yeah, I got Wordle. I'm on 67. Um,
Ooh.
and then I was looking up the dry dock because EJ was asking me for it. So I was looking up for a link for him, which is the
Mm-hmm.
pallet reloading station that you can 3D print. It's on printables. I was looking up the TV show My Family. Don't know if you ever watched it, the British comedy.
I don't
So,
think so. No.
oh, it's
No.
really, really good. Yeah, I
Okay.
saw the clips. I was looking it up. Yeah, then I was looking at the Isotie, checking how the page loaded on the website. And
Cool.
then looking up the time for when Taps and Patience recorded last night. There was no way I was waiting up till 2 a.m. And
Oh
then I
yeah.
was looking up the Arduino Nano ISP header, which is different depending on the frickin' board, and blew up one of my boards today.
Ooh.
Yes, it's this way or this way. It's really
Oh
annoying.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
plugged
Yeah.
in and dead. So yeah, I was a little bit annoyed by that. Um, but yeah, anyway, that is what is in my Google box. I need to now purge it later. But yeah, I'm now wait, how many? 6 days ahead of where my previous record for Wordle was.
Ooh.
I'm going for 100 because my brother-in-law got 99 and then forgot one day.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. So it's very much part of my routine again, and I plan on keeping it there.
Cool,
But
cool.
yeah. So where
Yeah, it's
can
a fun
people
thing.
find you, Curt?
Confoundedmachine.com. All my information's there. Contact page. There's a newsletter sign up. If you don't want to try to follow me on social medias, you can sign up for a newsletter, and I send out a little email blurb of anything that's pertinent. So yeah. How about you, Jamie?
You can find us at jspeceng.com. You can find the Anchor Point, still two available, some fancy shirts, an Isotie. Yeah, I decided to make a product out of that one, just for they made to order. Like me, I've got the palette, may as well.
Sure.
Yeah, and you can find the podcast at thelonemachinists.com. On there's a list of all our fancy Patreons in order of which, in order. This
Of
is
how cool
hard
they are.
wording. Not of how cool they are, of who, in order of how they joined or when they joined. So
I
it's,
know, yeah.
yeah. Okay. And then there's also the companion guide. Sorry, words are really hard this morning. It's been a long day. Companion guide using all the fancy words that I like to use in case you can't understand what I'm saying, because I have a lovely accent and some very specific slang. There's also a link in there to the shirts for the Lone Machinist and hoodies and water bottles and other things. And that all goes towards supporting the podcast. So, yeah, you can go check those out. And yeah, I think that's all the shout outs I have. What are you up to today, Curt?
Today, I'm going to warm up the machine, load up a crap ton of Ultim parts, get those going, load up the printer, get that printing, and then probably load up the lathe and get that lathing. So yeah, just a bunch of
Nice.
production on that. I want to try to knock out all these mechanisms this week. I have one friend who I will look up while you're talking about your thing. I'll give his little show a shout out. But he has a like a meetup, and I'm going to send him one of these mechanisms as a giveaway and a bunch of stickers and shit. But it's
Okay.
he's leaving in like a week or two, so I gotta
Yeah.
hop too. So I'll get that going.
Okay.
Yeah, and thanks for all the patrons. I know I talked to some of those patrons. I talked to all of them. So thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you kindly for
Likewise.
helping make the show go. It's
Yes, I think
we enjoy
actually,
doing it, but it's very pleasing to have people that support it. So
yes,
thank you.
definitely. Yeah, I think we might discuss the messages that Luke sent through this week in the after
Oh
show.
yeah, I
Because
appreciate
yeah,
that, Luke. Yeah,
we
yeah.
have some thoughts and opinions, but we'll keep those out of the main podcast. But yeah, I'm gonna go sleep, and then what am I doing tomorrow? Tomorrow I'm running another like couple hundred parts on the MCO, and then a bunch of stuff on the LK, and yeah, faffing around. I've got a bunch. Jeez, tired as hell. I've got a bunch of backlog stuff that I'm trying to work through, so I'm going to be working through all of that tomorrow. I need to 3D print a fan shroud as well. My PETG finally arrived. I ordered it on Wednesday, and there was a coupling and some PETG, and I needed it on Thursday, and it arrived today. So I messaged the guys on Thursday. I'm like, what the hell's happening? And they're like, oh, no, sorry, we had to transfer something between branches. Bullshit story, bullshit story. And yeah, they dispatched it on Friday, so I only got it today, which was a little tedious. But that'll be a tomorrow problem.
Nice.
I've got to go drop off that tool that Dar said I was working on, so I'll go drop that off and drop off the coupling and stuff with the other customer. I literally 3D printed him a coupling to just tide him over for the weekend because
Cool.
his staff didn't gauge like 10,000 parts, and now they've all been sent back for gauging.
Oh, rough.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm not paying you to do this. You guys can do it 2 hours a day. After hours, you can gauge these things for 2 hours every day extra till they all gauged because you
Cool.
were meant to do it. But yeah, they got lazy and didn't. And yeah, parts got rejected because one didn't screw on out of 10,000.
Oh, ragged.
And that's how it works. And it's
Yeah.
probably just because there was a shaving in there.
No,
They
totally.
didn't blow the parts out and gauge them. So it was just a shaving. Oh, it didn't go on, reject the whole batch.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how it goes. Anyway, do you want to shout out?
Yes, I have a link. So it's I think it's the Canadian Knife Group meetup in June. I think it's happening in BC. The gentleman is on Instagram, the_urban_bandit. Urbanbanditphoto.ca. Oh, all kinds of shout outs for you there. Anyways, they're having a big meetup. It's a bunch of Canadian guys. I've talked to a bunch of them. They're super supportive of me, have been for a long time. So I think I'm going to send the very first mechanism I make 001, so it can be a giveaway for them, because a lot of those dorks have just provided a lot of help for me. So try to keep them a little happier. So it's kind of cool when all the dorks meet up. I say dorks in the kindest possible way. We're all dorks. So
yeah, 100%. No, sweet. Cool. In that case, let's wrap this up. Then we can go discuss super secret things in the after show.
Sweet.
So thank you everybody for listening. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube Music, and Apple Podcasts. Please do consider giving us a like, subscribe, rate, or whatever it is on your specific platform of choice. If there's anybody that you think that might enjoy the podcast, please feel free to recommend it. And if you want to ask any questions or anything, just pop Curt or I a message, and we will try and remember to mention it in the podcast. But thank you everybody for listening. Please enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you next week.
Take care, all.